And welcome, welcome. This is being recorded. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with me for this conversation. Good day for those of you who might be listening to this during the day. I encourage you to take some notes if you'd like. I'm going to speak for about 30 minutes at a pretty good pace. Some notes that I've written down to share with you. And then I'm open for a few comments and questions, certainly open to discuss any of what I'm presenting privately with any of you who are listening to this. I like to begin with some simple ideas. Your body is not broken. Your body is designed to heal, but healing doesn't always happen just because we want it to. So the question becomes, why? In my experience, most of the time, it's because the body doesn't know what to do. Let me say that again correctly. In my experience, most of the time, it's not because the body doesn't know what to do. It's because something's in the way. The body knows what to do. I call what's in the way interference. Write that down. Interference. And interference can take many forms. Toxins we're exposed to every day, chronic stress that keeps the body in survival mode, inflammation, imbalances in the gut, simply being disconnected from what our body is trying to tell us. So when interference builds up, the body shifts out of a healing state and into a protective state. I want to repeat that. When interferences build up, the body shifts out of a healing state and into a protective state. And when we're in protection, we don't repair as well. We don't digest as well. We don't think as clearly. We don't feel as connected. So healing at its core is not about forcing the body to do something new. It's about removing what's in the way so the body can do what it already knows how to do. And one of the most important relationships in the physical body is between the gut and the liver. The gut decides what comes in. The liver decides what stays, what gets changed, what gets eliminated. And if the gut's inflamed or out of balance, more toxins and inflammatory signals reach the liver. If the liver gets overwhelmed, those toxins don't get cleared effectively and they begin to circulate in the body. That can affect everything: energy, hormones, mood, mental clarity. So instead of asking, what do I take to fix this? A more useful question might be, what might be interfering with my body's ability to heal? Because once we begin to remove interference, something shifts. Once we begin to remove interference is things shift. Now, the second part of healing is restoring connection. Our body is constantly communicating with us through sensations, energy levels, digestion, moods, and thoughts. And many of us have learned to override those signals. We don't listen to them very well. We push through fatigue. We ignore discomfort. We stay busy enough to not notice. So over time, that creates disconnection. When we're disconnected, we lose access to the body's natural self-regulating intelligence. Healing begins to return when we reconnect. When we start to listen instead of override, support instead of push, work with the body instead of against it. This is where things like nutrition, herbs, lifestyle come in, not like quick fixes, but as support systems. Herbs, for example, don't force the body to heal. They support detox pathways, inflammation to balance, tissue repair, nervous system regulation. Herbs help remove interferences and strengthen the body's ability to regulate itself. And something else, even more important, your gut, your microbiome, plays a major role in this process. When the microbiome is balanced, it reduces inflammation, supports digestion, produces important compounds for the brain and immune system to function better. Incredible gut-brain connection. But when we're out of balance, any of these factors out of balance, inflammations increase, toxins increase, and even mood and clarity can shift. So, what we often experience as brain fog, low energy, irritability or anxiety, poor memory, low resistance to infections may not just be in our head, it may be a reflection of what's happening in our gut. So, again, healing is not about chasing symptoms, it's about understanding the system, removing interference, restoring connection, and trusting that the body, when supported properly, has an incredible capacity to regulate, repair, and renew. I'll leave you with this. Healing is not something you force, we force. It's something you allow when you create the conditions for it to occur. So, does the body give us signals before disease? How do we recognize them? Well, pretty consistently and predictably, the body almost always gives early functional systems signals before structural disease develops. These signals are often subtle, sometimes inconsistent, they're intermittent, and these early functional signals sometimes are easy to miss or we normalize them. What are some common early signals before someone can name a disease? Energy, lots of fatigue, especially on specific times of the day, waking up tired, lots of tiredness toward the end of the day, poor digestion, bloating, gas, irregular bowel movements, mood, irritability, anxiety, mood shifts, sleep, difficulty falling or staying sleep, cognitive brain fog, reduced clarity, poor memory, body sensations of tension, mild pain, inflammation. These might be different early signals before somebody can label a disease. And these symptoms might then form patterns into early dysregulation. So people have blood sugar imbalances, they're hypoglycemic or pre-diabetic or diabetic. They have nervous system sympathetic overdrive that gets them overwhelmed, push, 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 do, 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 do. There might be microbiome imbalances related to the gut long before somebody might be diagnosed as irritable bowel or gastritis or esophagitis or ulcers. There might be other inflammatory signaling biomarkers that MDs look at but don't interpret it as, oh, you've got a sign of inflammation. But naturopaths or functional medicine doctors look at certain biomarkers as, oh, this person's got too much inflammation in their body. And then there's the detoxification load of heavy metals. Does somebody have levels of aluminum or mercury or lead, um, cadmium that aren't going to get somebody into the emergency room, but are really important to evaluate because those heavy metals and pesticides create burdens to suck up vitamin C in your body and interrupt all sorts of chemical pathways that then develop into more and more symptoms and diseases. These are functional disturbances, not yet diseases, but heading in the direction of something named if they go unaddressed. So intuitively, these are messages. The body communicates through sensations. We sense things. The body communicates through energy. The body communicates through rhythms of sleep and appetite and cycles. These messages, this feedback, something's out of balance. Something needs attention or support. And it's amazing how many of us tolerate symptoms and just push through life without listening, slowing, pausing. What's my body trying to tell me? What does my body need less of? What does my body need more of? So, how can people learn to recognize these signals? Well, work with somebody individually, do some kind of structured program where you track patterns. You notice your energy, your digestion, your sleep, your mood. You notice timing after meals, stress, time of day. You correlate certain symptoms with lifestyle inputs. You become better observers of patterns. Very difficult to do in most of our normal do, more, go. The more I accomplish, the better a person I am. Slowing down for people can be enormously difficult. They are wired, we have wired ourselves to not be able to sense subtle changes. And when changes become not so subtle, sometimes, again, we're just looking for medications or herbs or vitamins or taking something, but we don't realize may take a week, may take 2 months, may take 3 months, may take a year. But the idea of slowing down to listen to your body, as I've learned in the last 40, 50 years, I've been partners with people, can take an art form that some people have a lot of difficulty slowing down. There's a lot of investment into pushing and rushing and doing more. So sometimes I'm coaching people to differentiate between reaction, the mental story that we all tell ourselves, versus sensations directly without interpretations. It's been a major theme in some of my teaching that a lot of people have done, where you become a better witness, but it's very difficult to impossible to witness and observe your body and then come up with different interpretations, different than, well, I don't like this, or I'm stupid for doing it, or you get into a critical parent, which is not witnessing. That's already an interpretation that what's happening is bad rather than it's a signal. It's a message. If you ate what you ate and you dealt with stress the way you dealt with stress and you did or didn't exercise or you did or didn't meditate and you didn't slow down, then your body's not stupid. You're not stupid. You're programmed, you're in a conditioned pattern. So the idea of learning how to respond differently than reaction also can be artwork and can take practice to be aware without immediately judging what is being noticed. That's called mindfulness. That's called witnessing. That's called objective reality. That's what monks do, whether they're Jewish monks or Christian monks or Muslim monks or Buddhist monks or non-denominational monks. People who are not living in a secular world, whatever the ritual or form of what they're doing is they're practicing awareness. And something of what they aware might be of how they're thinking of what they're looking at. Whereas most of us confuse what you're looking at, body sensations, actions you did, and how you're, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Some of you listening know what I'm talking about. Here's a key principle. Symptoms are not the problem. They are the body's early communication system. I'll say that more clearly. Symptoms are not the problem. They are the body's early communication system. So where should we begin? Gut, liver, something more foundational? The answer is start with regulation, not location. Before gut or liver, the most foundational system is, drum roll, before gut or liver, the most foundational system is the nervous system, the state of our being. If the body is in chronic stress, fight or flight, digestion's impaired, detox is reduced, hormone balance is disrupted, repair processes are downregulated. So the true starting point is, everybody with me, take a nice deep breath, real slow, let it out, real slow. One more time, nice deep breath, let it out. The true starting point is to create safety and regulation in the body by breathing. That might be a breathing practice, laying flat on the floor in your bed or sitting up straight, nice and straight, not like this, straight. That might start by, how do you slow down? Well, I really want to slow down. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? Well, I really think I should slow down. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? You're programmed, your default is to go, 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 go. Create safety and regulation in the body by improving your sleep, how you get to sleep, the quality of your sleep, and really getting coached or working with yourself to reduce chronic overload, which may be a challenge. Well, how does that relate to my migraines or my colitis or my asthma or my allergies or my breast cancer or my eczema or my brain not working because I'm 60 or 70 or 80 or whatever age you are? How does reducing chronic overload, even if everything's amazing, you're not robbing banks, you're not going out and lying, you're not stealing, you're doing incredible, but it may be that it's too much doing. We are not human doers, we're human beings. Nice deep breath. The support to key systems together. How to support systems together, not in isolation, is, well, for the gut, improve digestion, ingestion, and absorption. That doesn't mean you never eat this ever, and that doesn't mean you only have sprouts and tofu. But given what symptoms you have, you do or don't have toxins, you do or don't have enzymes, you do or don't have great flora for your microbiome, what are you going to do to improve ingestion, digestion, and absorption? Restore the microbiome balance, take a really great high-end flora, not with 2 or 3 or 4 million healthy, positive bacteria. The one I use with clients has 50 billion per capsule. Reduce inflammation and permeability. Help the gut, specifically the liver. Support detox pathways. Enhance elimination. Reduce the toxic burden, but you got to find out what toxic burdens. Do you have mold and do you have allergies? And your allergies might be better, but you've had 5, 10, 20 years of allergies that have caused toxins. You do or don't have aluminum or mercury or lead or cadmium. Have you been tested for heavy metals? Well, can't we just start with one? No, you could. Got to start somewhere. But these systems, not symptoms, these systems are interdependent. The gut feeds the liver influences the gut environment, and both are dependent on the nervous system. That's why in programs, when I guide people through programs and with a lot of my individual clients, I am asking them to do some kind of meditative practice, even if it's 3, 4, 5 minutes once a day. Doesn't have to be a 40-minute meditation. Spend 1 or 2 minutes before you eat. Don't eat standing up. Don't eat in the car. Don't eat in go-go mode. So, in review, regulate the nervous system through lifestyle choices. 2, reduce interference, reduce our inflammation, our toxins, our stress load. 3, restore function, improve the gut, liver microbiome. 4, rebuild your body with certain nutrients, tissue repair, and hormones. Now, that's a umbrella of where when I work with somebody individually or people do programs with me, is somebody plugging in? Are they needing to regulate their nervous system? Some people a lot more need that. Some people a lot less need that. Whether they meditate or not, just who they are, personality. Well, I'm retired. That doesn't mean you've slowed down. Maybe your mind works just as much, and and this isn't stopping your mind. This is having a relationship where you have a sense, if it were musical notes, of having a sense of the space between thoughts. But that also is a practice. Another key principle, the body heals as a system, not as isolated parts. So what's powerful is that everything we've discussed, the gut, the liver, the detox, microbiome, signaling, is not separate from a trilogy that I've put together in the last week, say month and a half to 2 months. So what I'm about to get into is quite a huge shift for me. I put together a trilogy of distinctions that I've created as pathways, portals to access what I've been sharing the last few minutes. In the last 45 years, I've guided about 20,000 people. What a blessing. In a 21-day health and healing program that includes food options to give people opportunities to explore, clearing, cleansing, releasing interferences that block optimal functions. There's been contextual themes that we've deeply studied and engaged in. One is mindfulness, to be better witnesses and observers of sensations and thoughts and feelings without buying into. It's not never having judgments or critical analysis. But normal, good, loving, very intelligent people buy into that that voice over critical. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that. That's different than noticing your mental judgments and being able to lessen them and minimize them. I'm not saying Mother Teresa, when she was alive, the Dalai Lama, or the Pope, never has internal negative dialogue. People who have powerful ways of accessing deep wisdom and know how to use the mind as a tool, know how to witness and know the difference between objective and subjective reality. Another theme has been trust, to access that part of our being that knows healing is part of our human nature. And lastly, in the last 45 years, a theme very, very consistent for all the programs I've led has been forgiveness and compassion as spiritual leverages to offer us more space for creativity, peace, a profound sense of gratitude of being alive and being able to contribute our life energy for a purpose higher than our own individual life. So, as I said recently, I wrote 3 pieces, poems, prose, designed as pathways to leverage us to deepen our connection and access for better health and more effective healing. I'm inviting you to deeply explore with me and others these 3 new themes: healing, beauty, and enough, to further your love, care, and feeling powerful as a healer for your body. Code word: body, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. So, briefly, one of the themes that I've designed for this newly designed orientation of a 21-day Love Your Body program is what is beautiful. Beauty is how we see and relate to ourselves. Physiologically, I'm suggesting this influences our nervous system state. It reduces stress chemistry. It improves hormonal and immune balance. And when we shift from overt criticism, subtle criticism, to awareness of what's so, without negatively, automatically. But when we see beauty all around us, we become more attuned to the body's signals. We stop overriding early messages. Beauty creates the space to notice. And if you'll allow me, I had sent you in the invitation the What's Healing, but I am going to read you the poem on what, or prose, whether it's prose or on what's beautiful. Ready? What is beautiful? Beautiful is the quiet courage to meet your own reflection and not look away, to stand there unguarded and feel a steady pride rise from within. Beautiful is the deep knowing that you belong to yourself, that your worth is not negotiated, not borrowed, not earned, but lived. Beautiful is the widening of the heart when your life reaches beyond its own edges when you give without keeping score and without needing applause, and leave something gentler, greener, kinder in your wake. Beautiful is the honoring of what is, your triumphs, your becoming, the small victory no one else sees, and the grace to celebrate them in yourself and in those you love. Beautiful is awareness. The moment you catch the old story before it speaks to you and choose instead a new and truer voice. Beautiful is presence, not who you were, not who you must become, but the aliveness of now and the quiet pull of your own unfolding path. Beautiful is the language you use when you speak to yourself, when your words become a home rather than a wound, no matter the mirror, no matter the mask. Beautiful is the soft, unshakable sense that you are enough, enough to be loved, enough to give love, enough to open and be fully known. Beautiful is you, as you are, as you're becoming, and as you dare to be. One of the paths in the newly designed Love Your Body program is for us to deeply engage with the frequencies and the vibrations of what it is to be beautiful. Next, I sent you something to read. I'm going to read it again right now. Is what is healing? Healing is removing interference and restoring connection. Healing is the process. It's not the outcome. Physiologically, it's removing interference. We spoke about interference. It's about reducing inflammation, toxins, dysbiosis, an imbalance of bugs in your belly. Physiologically, healing is restoring connection, reconnecting the brain, body, systems, the gut-liver axis, the microbiome, the pathways. These are mechanisms through which healing happens physically. Healing is the body returning to regulation and flow. Number two, thank you for listening. Here's what I wrote about healing. What is healing? It's not something we chase, not something we fix, not something reserved for when we're broken. Healing is something we remember. It lives beneath the noise, beneath the pace, beneath the stories we've learned to believe about ourselves. Healing is the gentle unwinding of what no longer belongs, the soft release of what's been held too long. It's the quiet return to connection, to the body, to the heart, to the deeper rhythms of life itself. Healing is not doing more. It's becoming aware, aware of the patterns that bind us and the presence that frees us. It's choosing to listen instead of reacting, to witness instead of judging, to soften instead of resisting. Healing is trust that something within you already knows the way. It's compassion that allows what's held in pain to finally be seen. It's forgiveness that loosens the grip of the past. Healing is not becoming someone new. It's remembering who you were before the world asked you to forget. And in the remembering, something opens. something flows, something reconnects, and life begins to flow again. Healing is the body returning to regulation and flow. I remind you when I use the word body, sometimes I'm specifically talking about gut, liver, hormone, brain, physical. Often, when I'm with somebody listening, certainly in my Love Your Body programs, the body is a metaphor. It's not just a physical bag of proteins and molecules. When I say healing is the body's returning to regulation and flow, there's what emotions are stuck. How enamored are you to be right about what you keep doing in your patterns that you're stuck in, rather than flowing and giving yourself a chance to repattern yourself? Very hard to do when there's just so much negativity and judgment. And finally, what is enough? Enough is about regulation and safety. Enough is a state of being, not achievement. Physiologically, enough signals safety to the nervous system. It moves the body out of chronic stress, allows repair, digestion, detox, regeneration. Without enough, the body stays in survival mode, where the context of our life is scarcity. The context of our life is we're not enough. Enough creates the conditions for healing to occur. So, lastly, if I may, and I'm happy to send you copies of these if you like, whether you do a Love Your Body program or not. Um, just email me and I'll send you a copy of all of these if you wish. What's enough? It's not a number, not a measure, not a place you arrive after striving long enough. Enough is not waiting for you in the future. It's here, quietly present beneath the noise that says you must be more. Enough is the moment you also stop negotiating your worth. The moment you loosen your grip on comparison, on perfection, on the endless reaching for what's just beyond you. Enough is not giving up. It's letting go of the belief that you were ever lacking. Enough is presence. It's the willingness to stand where you are, not as a problem to be solved, but as life to be lived. Enough is not the absence of desire. It's the absence of insufficiency inside your desire. You can still grow, still create, still become, but from a place that's already whole. Enough is how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. It's the tone of your inner voice when it's demanding, whether it demands or allows. Enough is the quiet knowing that you are not behind. You are not missing something everyone else has found. Enough is the recognition that nothing essential is missing. And in that recognition, there's space, there's breath, there's peace. Enough is not something you earn, it's something you remember. And when you remember, even for a moment, you stop searching and you begin to live. So the body sends signals, beautiful awareness. We remove interferences, healing process. We create internal safety, distinctions of feeling enough as a foundation. And I again remind you, the body is always communicating. Healing is always trying to happen. The capacity for both increases when we begin to relate to ourselves differently. Beauty allows us to see, healing allows us to respond. Enough allows the body to finally relax and do what it was designed to do. Nice deep breath. So I invite you to join me for a 21-day program where we explore healing beauty enough. I'll send you an email with the specific dates and costs for you to consider joining us. And our mission, remember Mission Impossible? Our mission, should you accept engaging in the adventures that I'm designing, is for your physical body to tune into the vibrations of what you would call optimal health. Our mission, should you accept, is to engage in this adventure for your mental body to enjoy more equanimity, peace, calm, clarity. Our mission, should you accept engaging in this adventure, is for your emotional heart, your feelings to have more positive opportunity for creative expression. And our mission, should you accept engaging in this adventure, is that your spiritual values allow you to know your profound interconnection to the source of life with more kindness and more compassion to be present for you. Those have always been the bases of Love Your Body programs. So, those are my comments. Thank you for listening. Any questions, thoughts before we say thank you, thank you? You can email me, call me. Is there anything I need to say to help you clarify? Um, I'm going to have this up on my website shortly to send out. Well, I can send out the link as soon as I get it from Zoom, but it's going to be on my homepage. And I will send you the poems. If you send me, Dr. Barry, send me the poems. Um, and then consider doing the next Love Your Body program if that speaks to you. Anything I can respond or answer other than I thank you for listening and joining in this conversation. A little different than what you've done many times, Brenda, or actually quite a synopsis of everything you've done. Brenda's done a lot of Love Your Body programs.
Mhm. I'm ready for this one. Like really ready.
You're ready for this one?
Really ready. RR.
Thank you, sister. Okay. Blessings to you. Big hugs. Thank you for listening. Um, share this with as many people as you want. I will be in touch shortly. And thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Night
Thank
night.
you. Night night. Bye bye. Enjoy your day.